So now we have the runners-up short rack on the 6 bracket, playing for second and third actually, and it will be a race to 5 on a short rack, which is a 9-ball rack, 4 on each side plus the 8-ball, and it's Matthew Widlack to break against Randy Haynes. They're both 6s, and it's a race to 5. So Matthew breaks. And it's a dry break. So Randy takes over. Deciding which team of balls would be the easiest to run out with. There's 4 solids and 4 stripes, the 8-ball being the last ball to win the game. This is a runners-up competition on the loser's side. Randy's going to go for the 4 into the top corner pocket, puts himself in a perfect position on the 3 in the same pocket, and perhaps a light tap on the 2 to bring that out into the center of the table as well. He also has the 1 down in the bottom corner, but he would have to come all the way back up the table to negotiate the 2 and the 3, perhaps a 2-3 carom. There's options here. It's an open table. There's not as much traffic as a regular 8-ball game. And the option, of course, is to get through these 5-game competitions quickly so we can get into the final. So Randy's going to use a rest. Looks like he's attempting to put the 3 into the top right corner pocket, which he will also have to hit the 2 at the same time. And he puts it away, but the 2 didn't roll out far enough. The white came too much straight back from the rail, giving him a very thin cut on the 2 and no shot at all on the 1 in the bottom corner, hugging the pocket. He's looking at the potential bank of the 2 back onto the bottom left corner pocket where his 1 ball sits. Has to be careful here to make sure he can bring the white ball out so it doesn't get caught behind the traffic of the 13 and the black itself. Another rest shot. Attempting the bank. Excellent shot. He pulled it out, and unfortunately he was not rewarded because he did clear the cue ball, but the 2 ball rolled off the rail and squarely behind the 11 ball, and I don't think he can see either side of it. He has an easy kick off the bottom rail, and if he kicked it correctly, he does have a potential bank into the top left-hand corner, which he's looking at, and or the side. I guess he's electing the side. Attempt to kick it. A very good attempt, not enough. Sends the cue ball into the center of the table, his own 2 ball back up to the top rail. Now leaves an open table for Matthew. Goes for the 10 into the bottom corner pocket. Successfully puts that away. He's lined himself up on the Well, he's got an option on either the 11 or the 12. 13 sits at the top of the table, behind, close to the black, in the middle of the table, really, and in a easy position to be able to be pocketed in any of the any of the pockets around. Very forgiving pockets here. He was offline, but it did get into the top left corner, rolled up behind the 13. Now he has a direct shot into the side pocket. A stop shot would put him directly behind the 11 to the bottom left-hand corner. He may elect to go off the rail. Just rolled it up against the rail almost. Not sure he wanted to be that close to the rail, but he's now got a shot on the 11. And looks like he will try to left English and a little bit of screw. Nope, just a nice little follow rolling shot. Must have been directly behind the 11. Rolled it out from the pocket. He has almost a very good cut on the black into the top right corner pocket, which he negotiates perfectly and wins the first game. So we're now Matthew with 1. Randy still to open his account, and it's a race to 5. Now in the short rack, it's an alternate break. So even though Matthew broke the first game, he now racks the second game, and Randy takes over the break for his attempt at the short rack. Also, there is a slight change in the rules as well. You cannot sink the black on the break. If it is sunk, it is respotted, and you can't win on the break by sinking the black. Nor can you lose the game by scratching off the break and sinking the black at the same time. Looks like it's another dry break for Randy. It's a very open table. It's almost a 9-ball game where you've got 4 of your own balls, and you can sink them in any specific order, no specific order actually, and pretty much the table is how you elect to play it. If you got options everywhere because there's very little traffic. Matthew looks at the 6 into the bottom right corner pocket, rolls it directly into the center of the pocket, leaves himself behind the 11. He's got the 11 and the 4 as 2 potentials. He's almost a slight cut on the 3, and he's got a position on the 4. He went for the 4 into the top left corner pocket and successfully negotiated that one. Now he's looking at almost a square-on slight angle on the 3, and he's got a rather thin shot on the 2 into either of the corner pockets at the bottom of the table. He may elect one of those because he can get position on the 3 by coming around the rails, but he may have the same option available if he can just one rail off the side and go for the 3 into the side pocket. Which he's going to do. There goes the 3. Now he has almost a straight shot on the 2 into the bottom right corner pocket. Well hit. Now, he's in a situation here because the black does not have a pocket to go to. He's against the bottom rail. The black is at the top of the table, and Randy's balls, both the 10 and the 13, are both covering the pocket. So it's a soft roll, and it was a good hit. He rolls it up and virtually closes off those two balls for Randy, who may have a shot at the 10, but also has two others down here, the 12 and the 14. If Randy goes for either of those two, he's giving Matthew a very difficult shot from there, leaving a very soft safety shot in a way. Leaves the ball in the center of the pocket, center of the table. The black was put there by Matthew, and Randy said, "Well, go ahead and do something with it." Matthew hits it softly, a good hit, rolls the cue ball up to the top pocket, puts the black against the rail, which doesn't really give him a shot on the next shot either. He's begging Randy to clear the other three balls and have an attempt at the 10, which would be the only way that the black would be freed up for Matthew. Randy may elect to put the 14 in, which he does. He's got a thin cut on the 12, should he elect to go for it. It would come up the top rail, and it would come back for the 13. Again, it would still leave him in a sticky wicket, so to speak, on the 13, because he could sink the 13, and it would be a cat and mouse game at this point. I think it was hit just a little too hard. It came off the top rail a little further than Randy wanted, and I think has given Matthew a look at the 8, but I'm not sure that he has a clear line to any pocket. Again, a safety shot. Putting the cue ball virtually hard against the 13. Which Randy put in and cleared the 10. Now he has an option. If he can put the 12 into the bottom right corner pocket, come off the bottom rail, either one or two rails, he has a shot on the 10, but he has to come back to the top of the pocket, and he missed it. Now he's left Matthew with a dilemma, because by hitting the black, he can't really play it soft against the 10, because the 10 is in the throes of the pocket and would virtually go in, and it would leave Randy a shot on the 12 at the bottom of the table, and the 8 ball hugging the pocket at the top. So Matthew has to do something to try to still play safe and try to give Randy not an opportune shot of clearing the table. He elects to roll the ball. He's actually going to roll the 8 ball against the 10, hoping to put enough forward momentum on it to kick it in. Just barely missed it. Left the 8 ball against the pocket. Now it's Randy's game to lose, because if he can put this 12 into the left corner pocket at the bottom of the table, he would easily come back up to the center of the table and have a very easy nick into the pocket to win his game and bring the score to 1-all. Come back in perfect position up to the top, right behind the black, giving Randy a small tug, but he'll have to use the rest to give it just a slight nudge to get into the pocket. Could have done with about an extra 2 inches. Has the rest. And negotiates his first game and brings the score to 1-all. So this time it'll be Matthew to break and Randy to rack. Again, it's a 9-ball rack, but we're playing 8-ball. It's a short rack, 4 stripes, 4 solids, and 1 black. And like I said, you cannot win the game by sinking the black off the break, and you can't lose the game by scratching and sinking the black off the break at the same time. It just gets respotted and you continue with the ball in hand. So Matthew to break. Score at 1-1 on a race to 5. Randy making sure that all the balls are in good contact. Well, this time it looks like Matthew has put in a stripe, and they're all open, and Randy's are pretty much all bunched together. So this could be an interesting run. Matthew could run out from here if he could get the position from the 10 back to the top of the table, but he elects to probably shoot. I don't know what. Yeah, he's going for the 9 first. Put in. He's bounced back a little bit. I'm not sure he can. Yeah, he can still see the 11. Rolls up on the 10. Unfortunately, he hit it a little too soft and has put himself snookered behind Randy's 1 with no look at the 8-ball, except he's going to try for a kick off the bottom rail to put the 8 in the top, and it looks like he's done it. A very good shot, and Matthew takes the second game. So alternate break. Matthew now to rack the balls. Randy to break. And the score sitting at Matthew 2, Randy 1 on a race to 5. That was an incredible shot for Matthew to pull off. He was totally snookered behind Randy's balls. He elected to do a long kick shot off the bottom rail, had a thin, narrow pathway between Randy's balls and the rail, came up with just the right kick off the rail and ran the black ball right up into the top right corner pocket to win the game. Again, Randy comes up dry. And Matthew takes over. However, there's not really a clear shot. There may be a clear shot on the 4 into the side pocket for the solids, but Matthew may not elect the solids because the 2 is wedged behind the 9. He can't run out unless he was able to clear it. But he is going to try for it because it looks like it's the only pocket that is available to him. There goes the 4, leaving himself a stop shot right next to the spot, the rack spot, in the center of the table. And he has a look on the 1, looking to try to maybe come off the rail and clear the 2. Missed it and brought himself back to the center of the table. Now it's Randy's turn to take over, and all 4 of his balls are open and available to just about any pocket he chooses. It's going for the 11. Oh, and he's hit it too hard. Missed it a little offline, but he still has given Matthew a look at the 3. Though at this point, where he goes after that is debatable because he would probably have to come 3 rails to come around for the 1 into the top right corner pocket. If he positions the cue ball somewhere near the left side pocket, he'd be able to perhaps deflect the cue ball across to where the 9 and the 2 are. But again, he hangs the 3 ball in the pocket at the bottom and leaving Randy a direct shot on the 14 into the side. Lining up on the 14. Well done. Rolls the cue ball across to the rail. He now looks at the 11 at the top corner left pocket. A gentle tap on the 11 will roll him back out on the 10 or the 9, but I think he's got to look at the 10. Unless he rolled a little bit too far. It's hard to see from here if there's a direct pathway on the 10, but it could be there. Otherwise, the 9's available to him. It looks like he'll go for the 9 first. There is the opportunity of hitting the black here. The 9 went. And the 10 is virtually lined up a little close to the cue ball, but it's virtually lined up to the bottom left corner pocket. If he wants position on this, he's going to have to screw back from there. And a good shot, but stopped it directly where he made contact with the 10, giving himself virtually a straight shot on the black against the rail. A potential bank to the bottom, but he's going to try a very thin shot to the left corner. He's going to do a kick off the rail and misses, leaving Matthew with now 3 balls, fairly open. And the black against the rail near the top left corner pocket. Matthew's going to put that in the side pocket, or yes, it's on. Rolls slightly, he's looking at the 2. Which he negotiates, brings the ball back into the center of the table with a slight kiss off the rail and ball. The 3 in the bottom right corner pocket will bring the ball back into a perfect position for the black. Matthew indicates the top left corner pocket. Lines up his shot. To take down his 3rd game in a race to 5. So Randy to rack and Matthew to break. Matthew needing 2 to complete his run to race to 5. And Randy has 1 in his account towards 5. Randy needing 4. So Matthew puts the 14, I believe, into the side pocket, leaving the ball square in the center of the table with a excellent look at the 11 in the left in the top corner. He's got the 9 near the center pocket. Came out too hard on the kick from the rail. He was looking to try to put the 12 into the corner, but doesn't have a shot on it. And I don't believe he's got a complete shot on the 9. He may have actually put himself in a little bit of jeopardy here. He may be able to kick it, but I'm not sure that he can. Oh, excellent bank. But again, he hit it too hard and put himself back behind the 5. So he now has to bank again. Has to kick off the left rail in an attempt to kick the 12 into the top right corner pocket. He made a good contact. That's a 10. I apologize. He's left Randy now an open table. We'll go for the 6 first. Let's put that in. Came back a very, very close quarters to 2 of his balls on the bottom right-hand corner pocket as the 4 and the 7 made short work of the 4. Let's come back looking at the 7. He just has to come off the rail and back up to look at the 5. Came around, may not have actually come around far enough. He's given himself a very thin cut on either pocket. unfortunately hitting it that thin, he's going to have to come off the rail. And I'm not certain that he's going to have a good shot on the 12, on the 8, if he does put the ball away. There is an option if he tries to cut it into the right corner pocket, he'll make contact with the black. Unfortunately, he put Matthew's ball in, left himself in a perfect position for Matthew to go for the black into the top left corner pocket. It was an unfortunate kick. It was an attempt at it. It wobbled in the throes of the pocket. And Matthew puts away number 4 to go to the hill. So Matthew to rack and Randy to break this time. The score now 4-1 on a race to 5. Matthew on the hill, needing only one more game to clinch his victory into the finals of the 6 bracket. Randy has to pull out all the stops here and try to put 4 games together to have any hope of getting back into this game. Randy to break. Let's see. It looks like Randy has put a stripe in the... He's opened them up, but I don't believe he's given himself a very good shot on any of his stripe balls. Whereas the solids are in excellent position for Matthew, should Randy fail to run the table. On these short racks, it's almost a necessity to try to run the table because you've only got 4 balls, and if you've made one on the break, you've got 3, and if you have 2 players with a skill level of 6, running 3 balls or running 4 balls is not beyond their skill level, but you've got to have a roll on the table to accomplish it. I'm not sure he has a shot. Randy's looking to try to play safe, but there's really no safety on this particular game with the balls so open. Well, it was a missed bank into the side pocket. Matthews 4. Is close to the black, so he's going to have to get it from the right side if he has a shot for it. He has a clear shot on the 5, but he's going to have to come off the rail a little bit harder and come back up to the top of the table, maybe to go for the 4 or come back up into the center of the table near the side pockets to go for the 6. But he's going to attempt to go for the difficult one first, which is the 7. A little close to the 7. Missed the shot, but did cover the 9 for Randy. Now he's technically closed off 3 pockets, giving Randy almost a 1-pocket option on the other side of the table. All 3 of Randy's pockets on the left side of the table here are pretty much covered. Oh, unfortunately, he scratched, trying to clear the 7. He scratched into the top left pocket, leaving Matthew with ball in hand and virtually a run out to win the game. However, the 4, well, he'd probably go for the 4 because that's the one that's in trouble. He has to sink the 4 in order to run the rest of the table. He's elected to try and put it in the right side pocket. Though he is jacked up over the 9. It's not a difficult shot, but it's more difficult than normal. And he missed it. Now this has sort of changed the complexion of the whole game because now all Randy's balls are fairly open. He doesn't need to worry about the left side pocket or the left corner pocket where Matthew's balls are hugging the lip of each pocket. He has a clear shot on the 9, the possibility of coming back on the 11 and the 14. Stuns it across behind the 11, looking at the side pocket on the right-hand side of the table. He's actually on the wrong side of the ball here. And he's hitting it too hard. Unfortunately, hit it offline. It's a relatively safer position, but a slight tap on the 6 would put the 6, I believe, in the side pocket. And Matthew would run down towards the bottom rail, giving himself a clear access to the 5. Almost scratched. He rolled right towards the right corner pocket. He has an option of the 4 into the side, and he also has a thin cut on the 5. Tried to bank it and missed. He's actually left the table open for Randy now to capitalize on. Randy has a shot on the 11. He has a potential on the 14 back into the left corner. And he could bring the ball back off the bottom rail up to the 8 to complete the game and add to his score. But everything depends on the 14 here. Well hit. Actually, he cleared it perfectly. He's drifted behind the 7 just enough to see the 11 into the top corner and the potential of rolling just a few inches across towards the top right-hand corner and give himself position on the black. I believe he must have lapse of concentration there because it was just hit offline. He's now wedged himself into a tricky situation with his remaining ball on the table wedged behind the black. And Matthew the option of a thin cut on the 4, which he also missed. But that has also put Randy into a very difficult position. He's going to have to kick this with a lot of accuracy because he doesn't have very much to play with here. He's got about a 2.5 inch window on the bottom rail, on the top rail, behind the black. Well done. A perfect shot. Kicked it perfectly, but unfortunately he's left Matthew in the center of the table now with all 3 remaining balls able to be negotiated to a pocket. But Matthew has maybe the pressure of trying to win the game here, that he's on the hill. He's missed a couple of very easy shots, but he didn't leave Randy in a very forgiving place either. He sort of by default snookered him. He may be able to see the left side of the ball, but I'm not sure. Looks like he's looking at the rail. Again, hit very well. I believe Matthew has a clear shot at both the 7 and the 5 right now into the bottom left corner pocket. Put the 5 away first. Came back off the rail. Perfect position for the 4. Brought himself back up for a slight angled shot on the 7. However, that's given himself a bit of an angle. He comes across. He's going to have to try to get back over on the other rail. He did give himself enough for the top right-hand corner. Elected to put the black there. And this shot is for the win. And that's it. Matthew has won the short rack game and has now gone into the final. So the final score was Matthew 5 and Randy Hayes 1. Matthew now proceeds into the final of the 6th bracket, and Randy is relegated to 3rd place in the 6th bracket.